Hey, welcome back to Evil's Comics. I'm Evil Mike, and I have another review for you from DC Comics, their Black Label imprint. This is Batman Reptilian. This is issue number 6 and the final issue of the series. Um, a very dark and twisted series, I will say. But before I get into it, at the end of this review, I will show you off some of the art. The writer is Garth Ennis. We got art, color by Liam Sharp, and he did most of the cover art. And then we got letters by Rob Steen. Basically, at this point, um, Batman Reptilian has been about Killer Croc. And somehow Killer Croc, in his reptilian ways, kind of went, both sex and had a child. And this child was a monster. It kind of, in the end, it looks like some kind of half-dragon, crocodile, like weird mutation type thing. It's huge. Um, but, the beginning of this book, it was like this monster that was like plaguing Gotham, and it was like plowing through villains. It killed Joker and Penguin and like pretty much anybody you can think of in the Batman Rogues Gallery. But basically, it was like, going through killing all these villains. Batman jumps on the case trying to figure out what's going on. As the case is going on, he ends up, uh, using one of his like CI agents, trying to find leads on different villains, which he did use to track down the Joker and a couple other different villains. But at this part of the book, we have found out that, of course, it was Killer Croc and his offspring. Killer Croc was not aware that he had birthed this thing. It kind of happened in his sleep, and he just woke up with his midsection just kind of gone, and this thing had already slithered away. So he was even unaware that he had even had the child. He was aware that he had like a growth, but he thought it was a tumor or something. Killer Croc was technically born a man, but it's the reptile genes in his DNA that's doing this part of the transformation. So, basically at the very end, we saw that this thing was targeting certain smells, and it was all based on Killer Croc. It was trying to track down its mama or daddy, if you will, and it was going off based of pheromones, and that's why it went through all of Gotham, killing off different villains, because basically it was just Killer Croc that was running into these different villains and leaving this pheromone that he wasn't even aware he was leaving behind. Um, So, at the very end, we're in the sewers. Batman is trying to keep Killer Croc alive because now this thing has, done the end of the trail, the DNA sniffing part, and has finally tracked down Mama. And after finding Mama, the massive creature deemed, Killer Croc, unfit, kind of with the strongest of the strongest of the strong, the strong will survive, that type of thing, the alpha, and instantly tried to kill Killer Croc, and Batman having to come in and save the day. At the very last issue that we saw, Batman had, like standing in the way of this thing, eventually got eaten and swallowed whole by this thing. So he contacts a CI like agent, like as he is getting swallowed by this thing, inside his bat armor or whatever, and he kind of tells this CI agent to hop in his Batmobile, and now this Batmobile is racing towards the monster, and eventually, there's like this tense scene where the kind of thug has to type in these codes to trigger this, detonation scene, and it's basically he's trying to destroy the Batmobile in a way that explodes the monster, and eventually he does get it to happen. Like at this time, the police and the government are following this monster because it has already gone above ground and it's causing havoc, flying, kind of midday in Gotham, and this thing is big. And eventually, it's what happens is the Batmobile smashes into it. The CIA agent, like kind of and I keep calling him CIA agent. He's basically like a low-level thug, like like an informant kind of thing. But basically, he ejects, makes it to safety, and Batman claws his way out of this thing after the thing kind of detonates and explodes. But even after Batman claws out of it, we do find out that the creature is still alive. That even the explosion and Batman clawing his way out of it, the thing is still going. So, like as this goes down, the informant thug that was like as he got injected from the scene, he parachuted down and it was somewhere close enough, close to Batman. And eventually he kind of walks over and he kind of tells Batman, "Oh, I finally got my moment. I'm gonna kill you here and there." And Batman kind of like rolls over and he's like, because he's still recovering from, being eaten and kind of, probably started the ingestion tract kind of thing. So he's trying to catch his breath and stuff, but he does roll over and he's like, "The thing's not dead, and you were marked, and basically the thing kind of just, just eats the guy, and then we see the thing kind of fall over and like fall asleep because it's all hurt, it passes out or whatever. We do see the government scoop in and kind of, rope it up and tangle it up and then take it off with helicopters and stuff. And Batman has a conversation after recovering with the government saying like, "I hope y'all don't, plan to turn this thing into a weapon or anything like that. If it does, I'll come after you," kind of thing. The government's like, "Nah, we're on the up and up with this one. We just, we want to make sure we can either find out how to kill it or get rid of it," kind of thing. And it's even stated like in a peaceful fashion, kind of thing. And they do take Killer Croc in custody, but more on the that they need to kind of explore more about Croc's genes because it's going to help them with the creature kind of thing. Basically, that's in a nutshell. At the very end, Batman goes home. He has like a cup of tea or a cup of coffee with Alfred waiting for him there. Happy that Batman has made it out of it. But in the nutshell, that's basically it. And then it honestly it ends very dark. Because it's like even Killer Croc thinks he's gonna get away, and Batman kind of tells him, "Nah, bro, you're going to jail." And then even that there's a scene where like, Batman goes and visits like Killer Croc while he's locked away, about to get experimented on, and he just kind of whispers in Croc's ears about all the different experiments that's about to go down. Like, "Hey man, you had a good run, but you got to pay for all those sins somehow, and you're about to pay for them," kind of thing. And that's kind of the end of the story. I'll show you some of the art. I'll let you go on your way. I'm trying to catch up on reading, man. I'm not that far behind, so you're gonna see a lot of reviews. That does not mean you need to watch all my stuff. Watch what you like, please, please, please. If you do happen to watch this and make it all the way through, please leave a comment. It does greatly help my ego, my channel, my no, I'm just playing, guys, but it does really help. And plus that's what I'm doing this for, is reaching out to people to talk about the comics. I'm doing this the wrong way. I can get my camera into everything's being difficult. I keep going backward and forth. The art was stellar all the way through. There's not one. I want to say the art is very abstract, but I want to say past the third book, the art it kind of really blows it out of the park. So most of the rest of the book is it takes place in daylight, so it helps with the abstract part of the book. It's really nice. Like, honestly, I wasn't a big fan of the first couple issues because of the abstract art aspect of it, but as you can see, a lot of the panels are plain daylight and stuff like that. It has a very Sam Keith feel to the way Batman is drawn throughout the series as well. But guys, that's my review. That is a complete done and one and done story. I hope y'all enjoyed that. Y'all have a great afternoon, and I'll see y'all later. Bye!